Hello everyone and welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name's Michael and I'm bitten by a radioactive book. As September has already begun, it's time for a September TBR of course, so let's get started with all the books I try to read in September. First off, I'd like to show you the books that I'm taking over from August. The first one is a book I already talked about on my channel. It's The Age of Dupes by James Lovegrove. The basic idea is always that there is a pantheon of gods, in this case the Greek pantheon, and it's real and it's trying to take over the world and the humans are fighting against it. It seems to have like a diverse cast. The main character is a female soldier and she's in a team of people that all have lost someone, a loved one, to the gods and are seeking revenge, so that seems to be very interesting. The next book I have is Written in Red by Anne Bishop. It's a secondary world, but it's very close to our own, and it's a modern day, so a contemporary setting in that secondary world where others, shapeshifters, exist, and yeah, we're seeing a young woman who gets into a community of those others and tries to survive there. She has some kind of secret of her own. As far as I can tell, I have an idea of what the secret kind of is, but we'll see how this develops. I'm about 25% into it, and I'm really liking the writing style so far. Next up we have The Desert Spear, the second installment in Peter V. Brett's Demon Cycle. I've read the first 40% of it. The first third was like a coming-of-age story of one of the antagonists of the series that we briefly saw already in the first book. That is a bold choice that didn't work as well as I hoped it would be for me, but now that we're back with all the characters from the first book, I'm really feeling like really psyched to get into it again and yeah, continue with the series. The next two books are books that you most likely have seen recently on other channels like Samantha's, Caitlin's, or Mercedes' channels, or Paul's. These are The Mad Ship and Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb, the second and third installment in the Life Ship Traders series. I'm trying to, not really catch up to the others, I won't make that, but read the series of Robin Hobb, the whole Ada Links books as well, maybe a bit later than them, and still discuss it with them. So the Mad Ship is basically a formality. Speaking of right now, I'm at the 95% mark, so there's I think one chapter and the epilogue left for me to read, so I will finish this right after editing and uploading this video, and then I hope to continue with the Ship of Destiny over the course of the next month as well. These were all the books that I'm taking over from August. These books all have like a medium priority for me because I'm reading them mostly on my own, and so if I get to them it's okay, if not, no worries. But now we're getting into the segment of the books I've planned as buddy reads, so these are logically the ones that have the highest priority next month. The first of those being Ruin by John Gwynne. It's the third installment in his The Faithful and the Fallen series. I really enjoyed Malice and Valor, the first two installments, and I've buddy read them with Caitlin from Kitty G, and we're going to read the third one together as well. Of course I can't go into much detail because a lot has happened in the last two books and I'm really eager to see how the series develops, but for fans of classical fantasy with like a modern style of writing, multiple POV, I can highly recommend the series. First book was a 4-star read. The second book was a 5-star read for me, so that seems to shape up to be a good series. Next up we have The Grim Company, which is the first installment in the series with the same title by Luke Scull. It's a grimdark series. I don't know that much about it, but it has a very intriguing kind of blurb. I'm going to read it to you because the whole world building aspect was really interesting for me. It says, "This is a dying world. A world where wild magic leaks from the corpses of rotting gods. Desperate tyrants battle over fading resources. Impassive shapeshifters marshal beasts of enormous size and startling intelligence. And ravenous demons infest the northern mountains. A world where the only difference between a hero and a killer lies in the ability to justify dark deeds." So, that sounds right up my alley. It's grimdark, of course. The world seems to be filled with interesting, fantastical elements, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm going to read it with Cindy, who I know from Goodreads, and it's the first time I buddy read with her, so that will be awesome, and I'm really looking forward to it. The next book is the book with the most complicated title of them all. It's The Contrary Tale of the Butterfly Girl, the second installment in Ishbel B's The Peculiar Adventures of John Loffard Esquire series. Wow, that's a mouthful. I've read the first book in the series a couple of weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. It's a kind of dark fairy tale in the style of Neil Gaiman or Catherine M. Valenti, and Samantha from Novels and Nonsense read the first book as well and enjoyed it. And as we both wanted to continue with the series and the second book just came out, we decided to do a buddy read for it later in the month. The next of the buddy reads will be Stormdancer by J. Christoph. It's the first installment in the Lotus War series. I'm really looking forward to this one because it combines two of my favorite kind of settings. It has a Japanese setting, fantastical Japanese, and it has a steampunk setting in it. And I think it's about a female demon hunter, and she is hired to hunt down a thunder something, which is basically a griffin, and she befriends that griffin. Then that's the basic synopsis I know about the book, and I have this series for a really long time on my TBR, and I'm quite happy that I'm finally getting to it, and I'm going to read it with Leanne from Leanne Reads. And again, this is the first buddy read I'm doing with Leanne, so I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope it's an enjoyable book and an enjoyable series. And the final book on my buddy reading list is Ayran X by Stephen Harper. It's the first installment in the Books of Blood and Iron series, and I'm going to read this with Vanessa Bettino and with Hannah from Craving Books. I'm really looking forward to this. It's a more classical fantasy about a half-troll, and he's living in a village, has problems because he is like a half-troll, and then things happen, spirits are roaming the world, the real trolls are coming down from the mountains, attacking villages, and he's caught up into all of this. There are elves in the world, so you see there is a very, very classical setting, and although I read a lot of fantasy, I haven't read that much books in the last couple of years that had a really like classical setting with classical fantasy races, and once in a while I have that craving for a book like this, and Vanessa and Hannah did as well, so we thought we'd read this one together. And the last two books I'm going to show you are books that are basically a bit of buddy and group reads as well, but they might happen, they might not happen in September. I'm not sure, the TBR is already pretty packed, but as I have the opportunity to read them this month, I hope to get to them. The first would be The Dinosaur Lords by Victor Milan. It's the first in the Dinosaur Lord series, and as soon as this was announced, I was really anticipating the release. It has, like, yeah, dinosaurs on the cover and the blurb by George R. R. Martin saying it's Game of Thrones meets Jurassic Park, so that seems interesting. So far I've read like more or less meh or okay-ish reviews of the book, so my anticipation is not as high maybe as in the beginning of the year to read this, but it's the pick of the month in Caitlin's buddy reading group on Goodreads, and as I wanted to read the book anyway, that might be a good opportunity, but this will only be a book if I'm comfortable or confident to read and have read most of the other stuff I have planned as well. And last but not least, we have The Dark Forest by Xi Jinlu. As you might know, the first book was a 5-star read for me last year, and now it has won the Hugo Award, the biggest award in science fiction and fantasy that you can win. So I'm really psyched to get into this, and if you follow my channel for a long time, you might know that I was in a live show discussion for The Body Problem for, yeah, the first book, and the group of people who did the first live show, that includes Brock from Let's Read, Elizabeth from Books and Pieces, Caitlin from Kitty G, Bree from Stories from a Shelf, Nicole from Nicole's Adventures in SFF, and I think we are adding Thomas from SFR Reviews to the group, and doing a second live show, maybe in October, maybe in November. We're aiming for October at the moment to discuss the book again, and yeah, I'm really looking forward. I know from Chinese commenters on my videos or on the live show that the first book is just really the beginning, and the reason why this series is so huge in China would be more of the second and the third book, who'd go really into space. And yeah, we're highly or really looking forward to getting into the series, and as we're planning to do the live show maybe mid-October, I have to read it before, so I include it here because I could already get started in September with it, but maybe this will be a read that I will source out then into October. So these were all the books I've planned for September. I hope you enjoyed this TBR. If you did, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of me, subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I hope you get bitten by a really good book too. Bye!